What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast being the 3 C's with Ginge and the 3 C's being coffee and content creation. I am here with my co-host and husband, Josh.
Hey, guys.
And today we're going to be talking about what happens when you feel as though you should quit or when you want to quit streaming or content creation as a whole. Josh and I have some differing views on this, and so we kind of both hope that we're going to bring something to you from each of our point of views.
Yeah, we differ a decent amount on this show. We come together, but just a difference of perspectives and experience and stuff like that just kind of creates a little bit different views on when you start hitting some, we did a podcast on burnout and stuff like that, but This is like when you've taken for example, if you've taken all the tools that we've given you in these past 10 podcasts and you're just not seeing any growth or success, or you're just not really seeing anything, and you start evaluating, should I quit? Should I move on? Should I try something different? Yada, yada, yada. So, again, this is just where Ginge and I, we have some different perspectives on things, so.
For me, as most of you know, I've been streaming for just about 2 years now. There's definitely been a lot of ups and downs, and I will not say that it's gotten necessarily easier for me. What has gotten easier is the ability to notice when it's my own kind of inner things and thoughts and such that are making me want to quit than it is anything else. That's something that has been a huge revelation thanks to my husband, my community, everything like that, because my thoughts and my opinions and such like that a lot of times are the reason why I think I'm doing so bad, when in reality, I can take a look at my stats and stuff like that, and that is just so far beyond the truth. So, I can give some kind of samples, I guess, or, things of times that I felt that I should quit and times that I pretty much did, and kind of just show that, there may be times where it feels like you should quit, but maybe it's not the best, kind of decision to make.
And me as well. I can talk about, Scary's going to go over some stuff, like obviously more the content creation when she's wanted to quit and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about maybe just some of my own personal experiences in my career and stuff like that when I've wanted to quit, and just basically how we've overcome things or gotten through things, or how we've had to adjust things and just kind of keep moving on.
Yeah. So again, I've been streaming about 2 years now. I didn't start streaming seriously as a career until about a year ago. And that decision, again, we've already talked about it in a previous episode. I kind of just got to a point where I realized that content creation was what I wanted to do for a career. Now, at that point, again, I wasn't really taking it seriously. I knew it was hard, but I guess I didn't quite grasp how hard it was, because again, at the time, I was still working a full-time job, so I hadn't committed my full self to content creation. And so I wasn't under the guise that it was going to be easy, because I knew that it wasn't going to be easy, but I guess I didn't quite understand how hard it would be. And so before that, there had been a couple times where I didn't want to do it anymore, but I think that more so came with exhaustion from working a full-time job, taking care of my family, and also streaming. And there's a ton of people out there that do it day in and day out and are able to do that, and I applaud them and commend them. That's amazing. But it's definitely not for everyone in that instance. But now that I've switched over to content creation being my career and being where I love to be, I feel like now it gets even harder for me. Every time my viewage drops and stuff like that, there are times, there was a time a couple of months ago where I looked at Josh and I had been doing so well, and I believe it was off of one of the Lootscape things, so I was doing really good. My stats were awesome. Like, I wasn't going to be able to, apply for partner or anything like that, but definitely was doing good, was riding kind of the wave of success off of that. And then I think I had to take some time off for being sick or something. And as we say, consistency is a huge part of content creation. That's how you build your community. It's how you build everything. Unfortunately, I think there was about a week where I couldn't stream. And so I came back and that wave was gone. And I think I had averaged, I don't know if I even averaged 20 viewers that time. And I looked at Josh and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this. Like, this is so demotivating. You know, like, I think I had one of my lowest payouts ever from Twitch since I had hit a, affiliate ship and been growing and everything. And it really just was like, why am I doing this? What's keeping me going? Like, my own community doesn't want to support me. My mods aren't even in there supporting me. But then I look at it and it's nothing to do with those around me. It's me. I was the one that wasn't consistent. I was the one that unfortunately had some stuff go on. And you can't blame people for going and kind of, finding something else, but that was that aspect. Now, there's other aspects, times when I didn't find it enjoyable anymore. There's been so many times where streaming and content creation simply felt like a chore, that I wasn't enjoying it anymore, that it just didn't do anything for me. And if it wasn't for Josh kind of rooting me on and like giving me pep talks, I can 100% say that I would not be streaming today, because it just became work. But then I have to go back and realize there was one day where I made the decision that this was going to be my career. So it feeling like a job, it'll happen sometimes. Everybody, even the people that love their job, will have those days where it feels more like a chore than anything else.
That's just a natural thing in life. I mean, exactly that. If you love your job or your work, whatever you're doing, that's not to say there aren't going to be some days that are difficult. That's always going to come down the pipeline. We did podcasts on support, and that's one thing she has going for her is, never mind the community support, but, behind the scenes, she has me. I'm there as much humanly possible to support and try to give pep talks and stuff like that. So exactly right. That is a strategy she has found that works for her when she's having a hard time, is to come and talk to me and just be open with me about what's going on. Because I'm not going to judge her or anything like that for feeling like that. She's going to feel how she's going to feel. My job, never mind as just a husband, but as a basic content manager / like PR type person for the brand, is to just kind of keep her eyes set on the goals or just constantly moving forward. And so that's just something that works really well for us. If you don't have that can obviously be a very, very tough thing. So, she just talked a little bit about some of her burnouts and wanting to quit, to give a different perspective on the side of things. So, she has the support and help and the pep talks and stuff like that. Well, me and my job and things that I've done, and when I've wanted to quit, I've never had that. I don't have, well, yes, I have Shannon, my wife, and stuff like that. My career side is very separated from my home life. So I don't have people to give me pep talks. I don't have people picking me up when I'm down and want to quit. There have been many, many times that I've just wanted to walk away from everything that I had done. And so since I don't have people that give me pep talks or motivate me or pick me up, it's on me to do all of that. So some of the strategies I take is I look at it, and first and foremost, I look at how much work I put into something. Look how much time and energy and whatever I may put into something. Ask myself if I want to walk away from that. If I'm still seeing even a little bit of progress forward, that is still momentum forward. So I have to weigh the fact that it's like, do I want to walk away from this? Do I just want to quit on all this? Is this my actual dream or my goal and stuff like that? If it's one of those, this is what I want to do, for me, nothing is going to stop me from getting there. It doesn't matter how low I get or anything like that. I'm going to just keep moving towards it. Even if it's just one foot after another, just slow progress, even no progress, I'm going to keep heading towards that goal. Secondly, I don't like, and I feel like when I quit things, I feel like I identify as quote unquote like a quitter, which sometimes that's not always a good thing, in the sense that, sometimes there are things you have to walk away from. If something is doing more bad than good, even though it's something you want to do, it doesn't necessarily mean you should keep going down that path. So, with me, I don't want to be a quitter. So I keep hard charging towards the goals. And again, like I said, nothing is going to stop me, even when I don't have any support, moving towards it. So some of the, again, just taking a step back, talking about the differences between Shannon and I. She has the support to pick her up. I have just my sheer willpower that gets me through things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And again, that's not always a good thing. So if we're talking again about the content creation space, let's say, and you are trying, and you aren't seeing results. One thing you always have to kind of figure out and factor in is time. If you do something for long enough, you're eventually going to see some sort of results. If you've just been content creating for only 6 months and your community hasn't gone past 20 or 30 people, let's say, that doesn't necessarily mean you should quit. You still could see progress forward. You just have to keep believing in yourself. And that was kind of like a mind shift that Shannon had talked about already. So it's important to have the proper mind states and stuff like that moving forward. But if you are content creating and you're trying to do it full time and you're not bringing any income or revenue and you still have bills and stuff you have to pay, maybe there might be some compromise you might have to do. We're not saying you have to quit or stop, but you may have to pick up a part-time job and move content creation back to a part-time thing. That's why we don't fully recommend just stopping everything you're doing right now to jump into content creation. Start it as a side thing, start it as a side hobby, build slowly and build up to it. So it's hard to, in my mind, it's hard for me, for anyone to want to quit. Like I feel bad. And for my own mindset, it's hard because it's just once I set my sight on a goal, nothing is going to slow me down. So yeah, while I may have good days and bad days and stuff like that, it doesn't matter because I'm still going to make progress towards my goal. So if you are fully committed in your goals and desires, I promise you'll get there. Just make sure all your responsibilities in your life and stuff like that are still taken care of and still doing the right thing.
Yeah. That's kind of one thing that I wanted to just sort of touch on really quick. Having been doing this for about 2 years now, there's been a lot of people that we have seen that have stopped streaming, and some of them were incredible streamers, but when you don't see that growth as fast as you want it, it's easier to give up than it is to simply stick it out and wait for it to happen. Not everybody's going to be successful with content creation. Not everybody's cut out for it. Not everybody can do it, but you don't know if you can do it until you put the time in and see it through. Now, like Josh said, when it comes to working and stuff like that, yes, not everybody can afford, to be a full-time content creator and such because of, financial and all that kind of stuff. But you can always find a balance. There is always a balance somewhere, somehow. Maybe you can't stream. Maybe it's easier for you to do YouTube. Maybe it's easier to simply write blog posts. There's always ways to do content creation and to have yourself out there than to simply stream every single day for 12 hours a day. That's something that I have seen a lot lately. People believe that if I stream every single day for 8 to 12 hours a day, I'm going to make it as this big streamer. But you're only taking into account the streaming. You're not taking into account every other aspect of it. And for me, I think that that's a lot of the reason that a lot of people burn out and a lot of people quit, because they're putting all of their energy into one thing and it's not working for them because they're not realizing that if you spread it out and you allow everything else to kind of work for you and work with you, it makes it, 10 times, 20 times easier. And that's what I found. Once I kind of pulled my head out of my butt and, realized that it's not just about streaming. It's also about community. It's about building rapport with other streamers, with other content creators, all that kind of stuff. Things actually started to get a lot easier for me.
We've talked about it in the past. There's a lot of platforms out there that you can get out there and put your brand on and get out there. So, if it's something you want to do, just figure out how it can fit into your life instead of making it become your life first. But another thing, before you decide to quit, one thing you can do is take a lot of the pressure off yourself. Stop comparing yourself to these high-end streamers, these massively successful streamers. Don't compare yourself to those people. Turn your expectations way down.
Yeah.
Way down. If you don't expect anything, that just sets you up for success in itself. But just, if you post a video, don't expect, 1,000 views within the first day, let's say, but, one of those, if you just expect, okay, maybe I'll get like 3 or 4 views, I'll get a couple likes or dislikes or some feedback on it, that is a lot more positive and proactive than just putting out a video, not getting 1,000 views in an hour like you thought you were going to get, and then just being let down.
Yep.
So just turn that expectation way down, and I promise you that's going to take a lot of the pressure off, and that's going to make things a lot easier for you.
And so realistically, at the end of the day, I don't think that there is a singular time to know when it is time to quit or to quote unquote give up or anything. I think it's more so being able to look within yourself and knowing if this is something that you truly want to put everything into, and if it is something that you are willing to do for the long haul. If you're not willing to go through these lulls and you're not willing to kind of put your all into it, then maybe it isn't for you. But before giving up, like Josh said, maybe lower your expectations a little bit. That doesn't mean don't put goals out there and don't do anything like that, but just take a step back, be realistic with yourself and say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is what's going to make me successful in my own eyes.
That's a good point. I mean, success is how you value it, not necessarily how other people value it. But my advice, all said and done, it's, yes, there might be not any single point where you can decide when it's to quit. If it's diminishing your life or it's affecting other people in a negative sort of way, that might be a time to quit. But if you want something bad enough, if this goal, whatever the goal might be, is important enough to you, you'll find a way to make it work. So while, yes, I talk about turning the expectation down, but you could also turn the prioritizing up.
Yep.
It's one of those, if you're only posting a video every 3 weeks and you're just wondering why you're not building a community, you need to prioritize, being more consistent and stuff like that. But if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. You will find a way to make it work, whether that is, going back out, let's say we're just not bringing in revenue, going back out there and finding a part-time job so you can keep doing all of your work. Or if you're one of those people that sleep 10, 12 hours a day, you might have to scale that back a little bit so you have more time for content creation, stuff like that. So turn down the expectation, turn up the prioritizing, and then just make sure you have a clearly defined end goal. And as long as it's important to you, you're going to get there. You absolutely will. Just one foot in front of the other.
Yep. And so I guess with that being said, that's going to do it for this episode. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to us. We have our information down below for Patreon. We would love it if you would support us there, as well as all of the support there does help us improve our quality for podcasts and the like. And if you haven't joined our Discord, we would love to have you in there as well. So until next time, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let us know what you thought about this podcast and your own sort of views and what you've been through yourself. And we will see you next time. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.